Hello and welcome back to another delightful episode where Dave's going to be under fire this time, I think, for Two Limes and a Lemon podcast.
Are we having theme music? Like, how do we... Is it just start with us talking?
Yeah, Dave's gonna do us some like a jingle, I think.
Dave!
Nah.
Danielle.
Two Limes
and a Lemon.
Hello, so we're back for Spooky Season Cinema and we're looking at my choice this week. But before I even delve in what that is, I've got Nat and Danielle with me. Do you want to say hello?
Hello, guys.
Hello.
Hello. And before we even look at that, let's think about what we've been consuming. So if you're new to the podcast, when we're talking about consuming, we're not just talking food, we're talking films, books, anything. So if you want to tell us what you've been consuming this week, go for it as well. So leave a little message in the comments should you want to. But Nat's going to tell us what she's been up to first. So before you start typing away, Nat, go ahead.
So for the last two movies that we have reviewed on here, I had to get a Shudder subscription. So I've been trying to look and see what was on there that I also wanted to watch. And I've actually been watching 101 Scariest Horror Movie Moments of All Time. So I thought that's a good thing to watch on the countdown to Halloween. And also just to give myself some ideas of films that I might not know of that I possibly would want to suggest for future ones. But yeah, it's good. The way I'm watching it obviously with Jay, and it gives you the title of the film at the beginning, and if it's one that we've seen, we then have to guess what the scene's going to be. So like each of us will be like, I think it's going to be this scene, or I'm going to be like, so we made it kind of like a game, and it is quite fun.
Oh, that's nice. That makes it fun.
Yeah, so
Have there been any that you didn't know of before?
What movies?
You learned about?
There was one earlier. What was it? Where I was like, well, I haven't actually ever heard of that. Oh, it obviously hasn't worked because I don't remember what it was. Yeah, I should be sitting there with a pad and pen, I think.
I love Shudder, though. I've had it for a few years. I got it because there is a guy who hosts horror movies that had a show on when I was younger that has a revival show called The Last Drive-In on Shudder that I really enjoy. He does this sort of Texas redneck character, and he knows a whole lot about stuff, and they play like a part of the movie, and then they take a little break as though they were on network TV, and he gives some more trivia, or they interview someone from the movie. So I recommend that. But what have I been doing? So I watched another film by the director of our last episode's film, a guy named Stephen Cognetti, and his single non-Hell House LLC film is something called 825 Forest Road. And so I watched that last night. I liked it. It's like a haunted town. Like it's a town that is sort of cursed. Everybody knows about this like creepy woman, and so they don't talk about her. And we learn about this town through a family that's moved into a house in the town. Didn't know going in that this entire town is cursed. And because there's some mental illness, and the mother of the brother and sister had recently died, like they're all very open to being affected by this creepy thing. I enjoyed it.
What did I do? So this week at work, actually, we're doing a Scream project with our students. So one of the things we had to do was get them to watch Scream. So that was a fun lesson on a Friday. So some of them have not even seen Scream, so it was good to sort of ask them when we had our breaks about who they think the killer might be, how they finding it, how they finding the 90s feel compared to films nowadays. So it was good just to sort of see it fresh from like new eyes, I guess.
Your job is sitting and watching the movie Scream during work hours? Yeah. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah. Well,
I don't want to hear about how tired you are at work anymore.
No, I mean, after that, I had to do the bit where you have to get them all to do an analysis and break it down and talk about character tropes and actually do the educational part. It was good watching it again. I didn't know how traumatic Sydney's backstory actually is and how horrible people treat her in the school.
Yeah.
Like when she's in the bathroom and then
And they're
those
all
girls
chatting
are just
about
like,
her, yeah.
chatting about, yeah, and she's just like, oh wow, okay, this is what people think about me. So today we are diving into Skinamarink, the indie horror film that's part nightmare, part art project, part what on earth am I looking at? Now I'll be honest, I found this movie absolutely terrifying. So terrifying, in fact, that it's taken me 3 attempts to watch it all the way through. I was sitting there under the covers and I was like, I can't do this. I'm going to come back at this at a different time. I think it's different for you guys in the group chat. It's been differently viewed, which is fine. Let's say you'll be questioning all my choices of why I picked this film. So buckle up, grab your nightlight or the fast forward button and let's talk Skinamarink. So before we even move on, the theme of it, like when I've looked into it a bit more, it's all about childhood fears and like the scared of the dark or things lurking and hearing things or imagine. It's all about imagination, that film, I kind of saw it as. Was there any things when you were younger that was terrifying for you that made you like, oh, I don't want to do that kind of thing? I'm scared of this. Nat, you go first.
I'll buy it. I was scared of the dark. When I was a child, I was scared of the dark. I used to sleep with the bathroom light on. Because yeah, I think most children go through a phase where the fear of the unknown of what's in the darkness is scary, and I think that is a general thing. Obviously, as you grow up, you sort of, I don't even know where the transition period is where you were finally okay to be like, well, I'm not going to sleep with the light anymore. But definitely when I was younger, I used to sleep with the bathroom light on.
For me, that's what the film's trying to draw on, is this sort of childhood fear of imagination. For me, watching it, the reason why I'll give you the reason why I found it so, because you can shit on it in a minute, but I'll just tell you why I generally took 3 tries to get this through.
Or we can give our valid
okay,
opinions.
give your wrong opinion, but your opinion nonetheless. But look, for me, it definitely brought that childhood fear back. When I was very young, I remember going downstairs early morning and putting on some TV channel, and it had like some old black and white like rubber band cartoon. That's the ones that kind of seen in the film that the kids are watching, and there was some strange man that kidnapped 2 kids, and it was all rubber band and animation kind of style, and it had that old style music, and those like old actor kind of voices, and it just, for me though, whenever I see that, it transports me back when I watch that, and I can like visualize this weird bearded creepy man with long arms kidnapping kids. So that's probably why I was affected so much by it, that I had to keep starting, because I just couldn't get out of that repressed nightmare of my childhood fear. But Danielle, did you have anything about being scared? Was yours scared of the dark and stuff?
Yeah, I think I probably had a nightlight for, I don't remember being like super scared of the dark. I went through a phase where I was afraid of the house. Oh, sorry, my voice cracked there. The house burning down. And the house burning down. I guess it still was a fear. But I remember sleeping on the floor one whole summer because for some reason I thought that would help me get out of the house quicker if it burned down.
I think it's also a bit like that fear of like when you run up the stairs, or like, and it feels like somebody's behind you, isn't it? Even though it's like an irrational fear. But like if you've got like a dark hall, or like you walk past a door and it's dark inside the room, that sort of feeling.
Where does that go wrong for you guys?
What, in this movie?
In this movie, yeah.
I think there were a couple areas where it did it right.
Yeah.
There were a couple very unnerving, creepy shots. And I think where it worked best is where we were in the point of view of one of the children. So it wasn't these like weird static shots of the wall, floor, carpet, but where you were at the level of the kid's head and kind of follow, like you were Kaylee or whatever, one of the 2 kids going upstairs, and then, you know, the voice happens and she's looking under the bed and she's looking back up. That, I think, was effective. I could like feel some tension there because I was in her perspective. But these other just like random weird shots might have worked if they were within the, for me at least, within the framework of a more traditional film where we get to know the kids, we get to know their dad who disappears, and then we get into this weird nightmare that they're part of.
For me, yeah, very much the same. I feel like I didn't know the kids, so therefore it disassociated me from anything that was going on with them. I mean, there's approximately 500 words that are spoken throughout the whole movie. You never actually see like a shot of the kids' faces. So that again disassociates me straight away from these characters. I feel like for children, in like what was supposed to be a scary situation, they didn't act like children. Like kids are fast when they talk. They're fast. They're not slow and almost like they're drugged out. I felt like these kids were almost.
Yeah.
And their movements, and not one of them screams at things that are frightening. And that to me, or even there's a stupid shot that Jason came in while I was watching it, and he was like, "What the hell is this?" Of the toilet disappearing.
Yes.
Like things like that. Like they would have a reaction, but these kids have got no reaction to anything, and that's I think I found frustrating because I like so wanted them to have a reaction or scream or call their sibling and be like, "Oh my god, this has happened." The only bit where I felt attention from the children is the 911 call, and that was the only scene throughout the film where I was like, I sat up almost in my seat to be like, what is going to happen? They finally have, after hours of isolation, I mean, I don't even know how long the movie's meant to be spanning over, but they finally get to an outside adult, I suppose, and have a conversation where one of the children is meant to have stabbed themselves in the eye with a knife because the disembodied voice has told them to, and the 911 operator is trying to help them. And that was the only part where, like, obviously we've all seen 911 calls of like real children that have rung for help and things, that I was like, this feels like a real tangible situation.
So I feel like the film's like is intentionally vague. It's almost like the director wanted it to be almost like a dream. So like you said, they're all a bit drugged. It's all supposed to be this kind of like, well, that's because it's very like artsy. It's very an artsy film. It's not that like your standard 3-act structure or like stuff happening and getting to know the characters. It's very much like you don't really know anything about these kids other than they're just in this situation, and it's a bit abstract. I think the narrative is there, like you said. It's not handing you any answers at all. It's kind of just I think the idea is allowing you to just sort of watch it and kind of look for things that aren't there, but then your mind's trying to create something that's there.
I think that's effective a little bit in a small amount.
Yeah, I think a lot.
Yeah, having a scene where it's like crackly and you're looking in the dark and you're trying to find something in the dark. Yeah, that's effective. But when it's almost 90 minutes of that, it's too much.
It could have been a short film.
Because there's nothing that's compelling me to... So speaking of that, did you know that it was a short film originally?
Yeah. So
did you watch it?
No, I just know he made these like.
I did.
Were they any good? They're called like bite-sized nightmares. Weren't
So,
they?
well, no, I didn't watch the whole YouTube channel, but he's got one that's called Heck, which is direct, like a 30-minute version of this, essentially. So almost the same types of things happen, except it is one child and the mother. And it's the same sort of thing. The thing I wish he would have carried through to the film was it had more of a marker of time. So in the feature film, at some point very late, we get this thing that says like 572 days.
Yeah.
Whereas in the short film, it says 1 sleep. And then it'll be like 5 sleeps. So it's marking the passage of time for this kid, like how many times they've gone to sleep. And in the short film, it goes up to like 18,000 sleeps.
I just saw it as it was an experience of trying to make sense of what's going on and a bit of like feeding on childhood fears. And I agree a bit with that, Danielle. When I finished it today, I was kind of like looking at, do you know when you tap the screen or tap the thing to how much long's left? Maybe I was doing that a bit.
My question is the camera. Like, usually with these found footagey kind of things, there's a reason for the camera. But it's never really been established why they've got a camera.
Why it's been filmed.
And
well, they don't have a camera, though. It's just that we're seeing this nightmare.
Yeah, we're just involved.
Oh, is that it?
It's not
I thought
found
we were
footage,
meant to be seeing it from a camera.
No. It's all just like weird.
I thought that's why it was so grainy. It was meant to be like a home video.
No, it's great. I think the graininess is all like the dream.
The grain is too much, in my opinion. At some point, I had to look away from the screen because it was physically hurting my eyes, and especially the flickering on some of the cartoons. Did me in. I mean, if God help you, don't watch this if you've got epilepsy. That's all I can say.
Oh yeah,
because you'll be having a completely different experience.
Yeah, it's definitely Well, I set the mood for myself. I put it just on my laptop. I turned the lights off. I had my headphones in because I had read, it's the sounds and like really immersing yourself. And if anything, like the flickering and the things that hurt your eyes did so much more with me sitting there watching it close on a laptop.
Yeah.
What did you think of the sound design? Because it was very like, it's obviously Foley kind of noises because they got the microphone really close to those Lego bricks. It felt like it was too...
But when the things disappeared, they had like almost like a 70s like sci-fi noise of like it disappearing. I don't know how to explain it other than 70s sci-fi, but that was very disjointed from the rest of the movie.
Well, there was also there's a lot of shots of like the kids' feet at the beginning, and I had noted down like the kids were walking across the carpet and it sounded like somebody was just rubbing sandpaper together. Like the sound didn't go with what I was seeing.
So the movie was made for $15,000 and made $2 million. So it's done pretty well for itself. The guy filmed it in his home, his childhood home. So I guess like in a way, he's trying to push that narrative of childhood fear and stuff.
They had like a little disclaimer at the top saying that they filmed it with COVID regulations, and I was like, great, there's like two kids at most at any time in these scenes. Like,
so Danielle, do you want to tell us where the word Skinamarink comes from?
When Dave brought this up as consuming a few episodes ago, this comes from a traditional children's song. I think it's quite old, but it gained a lot of popularity in the 90s. There was a Canadian children's show called Sharon, Lois, and Bram's Elephant Show, and they did Skinamarink as the theme song.
Apparently, the main way it got viral fame is because like some of it got leaked on like TikTok and Reddit. So people were like, this looks interesting, this looks weird. And then because it was so vague in some of the shots that you're seeing, it just pushed people into watching it. And then I went on YouTube to sort of like wonder what other people thought. And you've got loads of like just average film goers going, this is the pile of shit. I'm just looking at walls for like 10 minutes and then it cuts to nothing. What is going on? I am not like clearly not affected of the film. And then you got these other like Pompey kind of YouTubers that like they're using the 5 Enigma codes from Roland Barthes' narrative code theory. It's all about mystery. It relies on subtle narrative textures and I'm like, what are you talking about? You're just as worse as the guy's just trying to make like a visceral horror that's niche, and it's just meant to be like prolonging on shots rather than jump scaring you.
No, there were a lot of jump scares in it that were very cheap, I thought. It reminded me, it was like the film version of those old videos that people would send you, and they'd go, try and find the thing that's wrong in this picture, and you put your face trying to find it, and then that thing would jump out at you. There's a scene in this where there's like a naked doll.
That's it. On the ceiling.
Oh, yes, it's on the wall, and it's doing the same motion of one of the cartoons they'd watched earlier.
Is it?
And you're like looking so hard at it, and then it just breaks to like this loud squeal with a flat, like bright flash of light. That's just cheap. I think.
I agree.
Was there any bits that spooked you, Nat?
Nothing spooked me. Literally, the only scene that I was interested in was the 911 call with the kid and the operator. That to me was, it could have been its own film, just that little segment, because I think that was the only scene that really had like any realism to it for me.
I'll be a little more generous. I think the scene where Kaylee is in the parents' bedroom and there's like a disembodied voice that says, "Look under the bed," and then she looks under the bed and then looks back up, and then the mother is sitting there with her back to her. I thought that scene was pretty effective. I think the image of Kaylee with no mouth that they flash really quick, that was kind of effective. I thought the disembodied voice saying to a very young child, what was it? "Put the knife in your eye." I thought that was
Eerie.
creepy.
Yeah.
Just
There was a scene after that where there's like a door shot it's very far back in the frame, and it looks like it's got blood down the door. That was another one where I was like, I had to rewind it because I was like, did I actually see that right? It's like quite a quick shot, but I was like, oh, so they have actually stabbed themselves, because throughout you are like, well, have they actually? Because I think after they say like put the knife in your eye, there's like in the subtitles like a little kid's gasp almost, which I was like, well, one, if you stabbed yourself in the eye, you're going to be doing a lot more than gasping, but then the blood on the door I was like, oh, so it does mean they've actually done something, whether or not it's in the eye, but they've definitely cut themselves.
And then I thought the last image, the face, I thought that was creepy.
That's the point. It's like all this time you've been looking at a blank, dark space, and then this was the only time like where something slowly starts appearing out of it. And I'm glad it stopped where it stopped, because I was like, don't get any closer. And it's sort of just...
Yeah, but then I knew it wasn't going to take it any further, so I didn't care, because I was like, there's no way they're going to actually do like a reveal, like, so I don't need to care
Mr. Blobby
about it.
in disguise, like, whoopie, whoopie, whoopie.
Yeah!
And then it had like some weird, because again, it was really like grainy, and you can kind of see this sort of, I think it was like a woman's face, I'm not too sure, but it was just a bit...
Looked like a man's face to me. I guess it's up to interpretation of what you see, and because the disembodied voice was often quite low, so I took it as a man. But what I found creepy about it is it seemed to be addressing the audience at that point.
We're
it was
coming
like,
for you next.
"Go to sleep. What's your
don't.
name?"
That's making me all shiver just thinking about it already.
The like aspects of this could have been in another film, and I would consider them good, because like one thing I did as a kid is I would sit on the sofa and like put my head down on the floor and imagine what it would be like to walk on the ceiling and have to like walk over the like where the where the wall comes down a little bit and stuff. Yeah, and so that kind of I could see that, but then I didn't know what was going on. There was like a room that had like a ton of Lego in it, and
I read somewhere that this movie has a rating in Canada of like PG, but in England it's like 18.
Oh, really?
So yeah. And to be fair, I think it probably should have the PG rating.
Yeah, because there's only blood on the screen.
Apart from a bit of blood on the... Yeah, there's nothing else happening.
But again, if my nieces or like, a kid watched it, I think I would be a bit terrified watching some disembodied voice. I think it's the disembodied voice telling the kid to harm himself.
I suppose at the end of the day, that's why horror films are so just like divisive, because everybody's got their own different fears. So you're either going to love them or hate them. If you've never been scared of the dark, then you're going to be like, you're not going to understand it. With these sorts of movie, I suppose you like, for me, you kind of want to be a bit like an armchair detective, in that you want to uncover the mystery. You want to feel like, oh, I've seen something in the background which could explain this other thing that's happened. But there was none of that. So you couldn't really get your teeth into anything to try and uncover the mystery. It's just kind of, there's a mystery, but nobody knows who, what, where, why. It's just, that's what it is.
When there was no rhyme or reason to the perspective we were getting either. Like, I think, like I said, whenever we were in somebody's point of view, there was a bit more immediacy, and I could kind of see that. But whenever it was just like random weird angled shots, that it was more me just figuring out, what am I looking at? Like, but not like, what am I looking at? It was like, what am I looking at?
I think if there had been more dialogue between the two children, like if there'd have been like where's daddy gone? Like, oh, I'm scared. But they didn't really seem to be scared about the situation. At no point, they were just like, okay, let's go and watch cartoons. Like, they weren't like, oh, I miss daddy, or what do you think it is? Or they didn't really have any conversations.
Yeah.
It was all just disjointed mumbling.
Like a crazy dream.
Like a fever dream. Yeah, it is a bit like when you're sick and you have like proper weird dreams.
Maybe that's what it's trying to represent. that's the thing.
But I think I also would have a bigger
that's
reaction.
The excuse for any.
Yeah.
That's the excuse I could say for any of those points. Maybe it's just supposed to be like that. Maybe it's maybe.
Like when I've had like waking nightmares, so I don't think I get sleep paralysis. Maybe I do get sleep paralysis occasionally.
Nat, have you had sleep paralysis?
I've had dreams where I know I'm dreaming and I want to wake up, but I wouldn't say I've had sleep paralysis. But definitely I've had dreams where I'm like, you need to wake up, you need to wake up sort of thing. And
I've had one sleep paralysis moment, but Danielle, continue with the thing and I'll talk about my experience because I hated it, by the way. It's awful.
No, I hate it too. No, I've had at least 2 times where I thought I've had it. Now, a lot of people talk about. I think there's like a documentary about sleep paralysis too. Generally people have these waking nightmares with a figure at the end of their bed and they can't move. Mine is usually a giant spider in the room.
That's like 10 times worse.
And I can't move. So I remember
both times.
Like when I lived in San Francisco,
times.
Yeah, okay. Both times. When I lived in San Francisco, I remember waking up and then like when I could move, like clawing at the blinds to like get rid of the spider before I like consciously knew what I was doing. And then one time it was here, and I was just like, "Don't move, or the spider will see."
Oh wow, it's terrifying. Mine was, I think I was living in New York at the time, and my room was quite small. And so I've got my pillow ahead of the bed right next to the door, and then I've got this like small space where you can walk through the door and just go onto the bed essentially, and there's like a space for your computer or whatever, and that's it. And I remember getting into this, I don't know how you get into the sleep paralysis, but I got into that weird state, and then I was looking on my left side by the door, and there was like this small, like you said, those little demony goblin weird thing, like kind of just, but it wasn't ended, but it was sitting at the door just staring at me. And I remember like not being able to talk and say, and I remember trying to say help as loud as I could, but all I could get out was like sort of like can't shout kind of thing. It was like, and then I don't know how I got out of it, but then like eventually over time I kind of managed to move my head away, and then like I could start moving, and it was all fine and it all went. But like this vivid thing of this whatever it was just sort of dead eye staring at you. Oh yeah, it was horrible. I don't know, and that's when I started googling it. I was like, yeah, other people have this thing at the edge of the bed just staring at them and all this. So it's weird how like everyone's got that same experience. But
I'm like, because there's so many people that experience it, is it sleep paralysis or is it actually like some sort of entity?
Could you imagine? That would be mad. I'm like, Nat, you do not want to see like it sounds like it's because it's one of those things.
Natalie, Dave is not going to be able to fall asleep already
I'm
tonight.
hearing stuff behind me because
I'm
I'm facing away from my room.
See, this conversation is already more spooky than Skinamarink.
Like I'm looking behind me every now and then because I'm facing the wall, so. Oh, I don't like
but it is interesting, like dreams shared, like the being at school and like not being able to, like knowing that you have a test to take and you haven't been to the class all year, or you haven't studied for it all year, or like being in public without any clothes on and not being able to find any clothes, or the teeth falling out dream is one I have on
teeth.
On
I've had the teeth falling out. I've never had the clothes one, but also there's like when you go like as you drop off, they say, into like REM sleep, and you like fall down the stairs or something gets kind of thrown at your face and it wakes you up with that jolt sort of thing.
Or something.
Yeah.
Have you ever had the dream where you've got like a clump of like, it's almost like gum that's in your mouth?
No.
I've had it many times where I've got like this like big wad of chewing gum, and I constantly keep pulling it out. It just won't like decrease.
The gum keeps coming.
And I'm like, and it's like this long tarry stuff.
Oh. great.
And it just won't. And then I had them like, it was like one day I was like, oh, that's gross. But then I have it. Do you know when you like get hair stuck in your? Like, you see it in movies when they pull it and they're like,
Yes.
it's like that. But this wad of gum that just won't stop being pulled out.
Well.
Yeah, it's awful. But yeah, like I guess some people are like, oh, sleep paralysis. I'd like to give that a go, but like I recommend.
Oh no,
Yeah.
it doesn't
It's
sound
not
like
fun.
Who?
everyone.
I know some people are like, oh,
the
that's
newest
interesting.
attraction, sleep paralysis.
How do I get sleep paralysis? I want to see the demon.
Where can I
I
sign
want to
up?
see the giant spider. Yeah.
I want to see the little goblin by the door, apparently. I remember when I used to be working at the doctor's, I used to dream a whole day at work, and then I used to wake up and then be like, now I have to go to work. And it's like I've done 2 days of work in one. I used to be so disappointed.
I have 2 most memorable childhood nightmares. I guess this would have been a sleep paralysis one too. I remember waking up as a 5-year-old or something and seeing the evil queen from, was it Maleficent? Yeah, it must have been Maleficent from Sleeping Beauty on my wall and said, Danielle, I'm gonna get you. And I yeah. And then my other dream that I'll never forget as a kid, again, probably about this time too, is I dreamed I was at a summer camp and I had to pee really bad. And I was running around the summer camp and people were standing blocking all the bathrooms that I couldn't get in. And then I just went to, I just found somewhere and peed, and then I had woken up and wet the bed.
The worst. So apparently, to dream that you're unable to get rid of gum suggests that you experience some sort of indecision, powerlessness, or frustration. I may lack understanding in the situation or find that the current problem is too overwhelming, and the gum in my mouth is a metaphor for something that I'm trying to process or digest, but I just can't. If anyone is also pulling out wads of gum that don't leave, you need to go speak to someone about your decisions.
Let us know in the comments any weird dreams that you have as well.
Cool.
We can have big dream discussions.
Yeah, the dream podcast. But no, I mean, heading back to the film just to kind of wrap up then. We've kind of said scary bits and stuff, but is there any? What could have made? So do you think making it better would have been just shorten it, or what do you think?
Yeah, giving it a narrative, giving it some sort of narrative. Dave, was it perfect for you? Is there anything that you thought?
I mean, watching it 3 times, not in a row, but 3 times stopping and then stopping again. The first time I lied, I was watching it with Ant, and he was like, how are you thinking? And I was like, I think it's a bit boring. Should we just turn it off? And I told him yesterday, I was like, I was just too scared to carry on. He was like, you too? And he was like, I was a bit scared too. But I was like, I was just trying to be brave, but I couldn't watch it.
I so wish I could have been scared at it. That's my wish when I go into horror movies. I'm like, I really hope this one scares me, and I really wanted it to, but it just weren't happening.
Then my second time watching it was on my phone this time, and I kind of had I've got where my light is in the hallway. It's kind of the same kind of style they've got. So I'm kind of watching it, and it's all from the TV, and I'm and then just constantly, I was saying to myself, it's just a long shot of nothing. Why? Nat and Danielle have both messaged me going, what the crap is this? It's just a load of blah, blah, blah. That means it's not going to be any jumpy stuff.
Also, watching it on your phone.
Yeah. Because I tried to watch it on the TV.
It's so tiny.
I tried to watch it on the TV, and it was too much, so I just went back to small phone. So I sat there just watching it on my phone going, yeah, okay. But then, I couldn't. I kept getting the goosebumps constantly. It made me just feel too uncomfortable. And then I finished it today in the daytime, just as I got up, where I was kind of
on what, your
on
phone?
My phone, yeah, on my phone. And it was like, yep, done and finished.
And you know what? Critically, it got 74% Rotten Tomatoes score. So I mean, you're not in the minority by any means. You know what? I wanted to discuss real quick. The scene I saw most pulled out as people being the scariest scene didn't scare me at all. Was the child's phone and the eyes.
I was expecting
John.
that to be scary.
That was too cheap.
Yeah, I wasn't scared.
Yeah. It was just like the eyes moving, wasn't it?
Dun-dun.
Like, that
Yeah.
didn't get me at
No,
all.
that didn't get me at that point.
I was just like, oh, thank God something's happened. Something's moved in a frame.
Just cuts of Lego. Yeah. But okay, so let's wrap this up then. So let's put our votes to it. So I'm going to go first. I will probably give this a solid 4 out of 5. Because if it's taken me 3 times to watch it, jumping back and forth and being that spooked, I think it deserves it for me a 4. If I do understand near the end, I was getting a bit like, and I do agree with your points in some places, but no, for me, I was affected by it too much, so that's why it's a 4.
I would like to remind you your own words from our text chain, where you said, finished it, wasn't that bad, but shit, actually.
Yeah, but now talking about it, I'm getting the jeepers again. So Skinamarink isn't just to entertain you for 2 hours and vanish, it's to stand there and haunt you like it's doing now to me.
What's your score, Danielle?
I'm giving it a 1.
I'm also giving it
That's
a 1.
fine.
I was contemplating doing a 0.5, but I reckon we'll go with 1.
I came up with an alternative title for this one. Skinamarink, parentheses, Home Alone 5, parentheses, Kevin's Gone to Hell.
Oh yeah, one of them was called Kevin.
And he was left home alone.
Yeah, well, he was with his sister.
Until she got too mouthy.
I think the film took some risks, and the risk taking is what keeps horror alive. That's
100%, but I don't
the
think
end
it
of
had
the
a payoff.
podcast.
No.
Leave it on that note.
Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should.
Yeah, in the words of Jeff Goldblum in Jurassic Park.
Join us next time where we may have a first ever guest appearance. It could be one or the other,
But if not, will be another film.
Well, I mean, I've got the other guest that wants to join us, so it could.
Oh yeah, so there'll be a guest star, whatever then.
So join us next time where there'll be 4. No, was it be 3 lemons and a lime? No. What would it be?
No.
3 limes and a lemon.
3 limes and a lemon. This is a terrible ending, just like Skinamarink. We'll end it there. Bye.
See you next time.
Bye.